SwissBorg is the official partner of my channel where you can buy, sell, hold and more importantly stake your cryptocurrencies. You can even earn yield on your stablecoins. Sign up with my link and you'll earn up to $100 worth of their native token CHSB just for depositing €50 worth of crypto. SwissBorg. Hello everybody, welcome back. It's a fair bit to go through, so let's get on to it then, shall we? So yesterday's bounce was significant. Let's just zoom right in on Bitcoin's weekly here, and I'll just show you something that I find relatively interesting. That's a bit too close there. So these are weekly candle bodies. It's worth recognizing that we've got 1, 2, 3 candle bodies in a row that are actually green. We've not had that in a little while, from what I recall. In fact, let's just back test that. No. I think this is the first time we've seen 3 candle bodies in a row that are green since we were moving back up last summer. So yeah, I mean that's worth recognizing certainly. If we go to the shorter term time frames, we can have a look at what's going on the 4 hourly, and then I'll show you something more interesting as well. So we're back in the box of significance. The box of significance being the top area being 19,750, the bottom being 19,500. Being in this box is a bit of a no man's land. Closing and being supported above it should have further upside. Closing below it should have further downside. So for the moment we're just going to wait and see what happens. Daily closures would be preferable. 4 hourly closures, I suppose, a little bit of a squeaky bum time, but we'll see if we get picked up on these moving averages. These are all going to be moving up as the day continues, provided we are above them, obviously. But the thing I wanted to show you here was, obviously, it wasn't just Bitcoin that moved, it was all markets moved yesterday. And look at the state of the NASDAQ here. So this is pretty interesting. I've not seen anything like this, I can't recall. Well, I can't recall ever seeing anything like this. This is known as a shooting star. This is known as a hammer top. So these are both, and this goes to show, I suppose, you know, people who like focus mostly on candle formations, right? There's a time and a place for all different types of trading strategies, right? And that's true. There's a time and a place for all of them. Sometimes the Elliott wave people might win. Sometimes the formation people might win. Sometimes the trend people might win. Most of the time, I'd say the trend people win because obviously there's already a trend in play. But looking at this on its own would be a pretty bearish formation. You look at this and go, oh god, look at the state of that. The sellers outweigh the buyers to the max. The bears beat the bulls to the point where the candle body closure is in the red and it's tiny. This week's the opposite. The bulls fought back and created the complete opposite candle body formation. So we got super bearish, we should expect continuation. Super bullish, should expect continuation. This sums up the entire market to me. That's pretty much it. Nobody has a bloody clue what's going on. Right? Nobody has a clue what's going on. It's only really the Fed that are going to be able to make a true decision as to what's really going to continue, which direction is really going to continue. The next rate hike is likely to be 75 at least, and that's going to be in November. So maybe there's a little bit of fun between now and then. But really, when it comes to trend is still very much to the down, and so we should expect a continuation to the down. But this is a formation of such, and maybe we do head up to the top of this formation before breaking back down again. Maybe we break the hell out. Who even knows? But while being in a formation like this, you should expect a formation to remain like this. And this is a bearish formation. So despite what we're seeing here, which is conflicting candle body formations of their own, we should probably expect further downside anyway. And with the NASDAQ being that way, it's just one way to interpret all markets, I suppose. We should expect Bitcoin to continue that way. It doesn't have to happen though. Things can change. But looking at Bitcoin right now, that's a 10% move, or just short of a 10% move. And now what we'll be looking for would be for this move to be faded, to be honest with you. And maybe we get picked up at some of these lower moving averages. Or maybe we get picked up more or less now, which is on the daily. We can see, let's just zoom in a little closer here actually. We can see on the daily that the Bollinger Band Center, or should I say the 21 exponential, hangs around at the bottom of the range. So we're talking 19,500. So we've got the 200 exponential on the 4 hourly at the top of the range, 19,550. 19,750. We've got the Bollinger Band sitting around 19,500. So we are in no man's land. The box of significance representing effectively absolutely indecision time, similar to the way that that the Nasdaq is looking to close. Absolutely no idea really what the hell is going to happen today, never mind next week. I have to say the best thing for me to do is to sit this market out until we get some actual signals, buy signals, at least on the shorter term time frames, 4 hourly or something like that, to help us decide which direction is going to have continuation. I have to say, like, this took me largely by surprise. I knew that there was going to be a dump party going into the CPI, but to see it getting picked up so significantly took me by surprise. The only trade I was playing, and the only trade I continue to play, is oil. Oil is the one the one chart which seems to be doing what it says it's going to do. All the other charts are completely irrational and irresponsible and crazy. At least there's something going on with oil, which is the only reason that's the only chart I'm willing to do futures on right now. And when it comes to buying lows on altcoins and Bitcoin, if we go back to Bitcoin for a brief moment, you could look at this, and I guess in hindsight, maybe in a few months from now, when the bottom should have been in by then on a cycle basis, because I expect the low to be formed to be anywhere from September to December. So we're right in the middle of that time frame for a cycle, basically to at least print a low, never mind an accumulation and an uptrend. We are right at that area now as far as the 4-year cycle is concerned. It's still, we could be looking at this and going, well, that looks like accumulation, but that also felt a little bit like accumulation, didn't it, really? And then we dropped another 50% and accumulated at a lower level. So is this the 6,000 of yesteryear, or is this the 3,200 of yesteryear? I don't know, and this is why I'm still happy to sit on the sidelines, because I'll tell you what, after exiting my positions around here, last sort of bull market into the bear market, I sat the whole thing out and watched and waited. Absolutely no desire to jump in until there was some signs of significant change, which was finally put in around here, when we started to reclaim these moving averages on weeklies, and at the moment we're not there yet. So yeah, of course the bottom might be in, someone will have bought that bottomer over here, but me personally, I bought it once we reclaimed moving averages on a weekly, a 10 exponential to begin with, and obviously the 20 exponential once that was reclaimed, then yeah, it gave me way more confidence to expect further upside. And for the record, the 10 exponential currently now sits at 20,500. Okay, cool. And the 21 exponential sits around 23,500. Fair enough. So we might see a reclaiming of that 10 exponential, and if we start to get a positive slope on it, even better. This isn't going to happen overnight, and the 21 exponential, again, that's going to take a little while to reclaim and get a positive slope on that as well. So I'm not confident enough to say, all right, the bottom's in, let's go buy. I'm sure people on the comments will say that. Can't you see, man? Capitulation was over here. Well, I did, like I say, for the record, I did buy lots of Algorand and Chainlink on that level, just in case that was the capitulation. But I kept an enormous amount of my money available for what could be a further capitulation, and I was still willing to do that as well. When you're playing with large amounts of money, you don't want to see it disappear into thin air, all right, or at least go down for what could be 3 to 6 months. The market, like I say, summed up very clearly here by Nasdaq, basically makes me feel less confident that the bottom is in, but at the same time, it could be. This shows, this basically, like I say, it sums it up. It sums it up more than anything anyone could ever say. That's pretty much the market for us right now. Bulls dead, bears dead, to the point where we're basically, no one has a bloody clue. Everyone ends up at zero at the end of the day. So what can we do with this? Nothing. Just sit back, watch and wait. Play oil if you want to trade a chart which is doing its own thing, and wait for brighter days. So yeah, in summary, nobody has a bloody clue what's going on right now. For a long-term investment or for large money trades, I would probably just still say sit on the sidelines. However, it is interesting to recognize, I love drawing these lines all over the screen. It is interesting to recognize that this is working on the third candle body closure in green that Bitcoin has ever had. in this bear market. So this could be working on something different. It's nothing to put your life savings on or harvest a kidney and sell it on eBay. That's not enough for that. But it is in some way a change of behaviour, although we've not reclaimed any moving averages like we did in the last bear market to suggest that maybe a bull market is about to begin. So let's not get too excited. The Dixie obviously moving back up a little bit now from its pullback yesterday, which interestingly enough was on the top of this major trend line, this 22-year trend line. I'll just show you the significance of that. I'm sure you've seen it before if you've watched my channel. So yeah, 22 years worth of uptrend here, coming up to the top of this trend line. If this was just a normal chart without the Fed basically just going mad, you'd be like, all right, fair enough. Maybe that's where we retrace from, and that could be the case, But with the CPI coming in as expected yesterday, I wouldn't be thinking that the Fed are going to be doing any kind of pivot, not quite yet. I think they might start to panic a little bit if we start to move outside of this trend line back up to around 120, which is where our previous tops were. I'll show you on the weekly. But until we start to see something like that, it's at the moment we're probably just going to continue with the path that the Fed have laid out. And if you're looking at the Dixie on a chart basis, we're getting picked up from a center of the Bollinger Band basically, so just another buy the dip really. So don't get too excited, although there are subtle signs of changing of behavior. There are areas of significance which are being tested right now, and but as of this very moment in time, the Dixie basically says everything we need to. No, not the Dixie. The Nasdaq basically shows us everything we need to know, which is no one knows nothing. And we shouldn't fight the Fed, as we all know. And if the bottom is in, don't worry if you didn't catch the bottom. The bottom could have been here. That's fine. Don't worry if you didn't catch it. Trust me, if we go into another bull market, which is expected to last like it did last time for the best part of 3 years, there'll be plenty of time to buy stuff and make trades and invest for long terms and blah, 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 blah. There's no point in trying to get too clever when this could be the equivalent of the 6,000 of the last bear market. It could be. There's no reason to expect that this is the bottom right now. But there is an argument building to suggest that maybe this was the bottom. But again, there's no guarantees. There's nothing right now to suggest that it was the bottom, although it could be. Look, if someone's out there, making bold claims and sticking to it, fair play to them. As far as any kind of trading is concerned, sometimes the Elliott wave people might win, sometimes the candle body formation people might win, sometimes the trend and momentum traders will win, or the formation traders will win. There's loads of different styles, and someone will have got it at some point down the line. Obviously, because the bottom gets formed by buyers, and so people will buy. But as far as I'm concerned, until we start to reclaim at least the 10 exponential on a weekly, and definitely the 21, I can't confirm that the bottom is in. But what I would say is that once these areas have been reclaimed on a weekly, then I would be pretty confident that that there is a bull market in play, and then we can start to treat this market with a bit more conviction, with trades that are looking to do 5 to 10 X's again, and we have all that good stuff. But for right now, yesterday was just a significant bounce, and it's likely to be faded unless, of course, we start to reclaim some of these zones, which for the moment we haven't. We came close to it, but we haven't done it quite yet. So let's not get too excited, all right? The Nasdaq told us, I don't know what's going on. I was super bearish last week. Everybody was saying how bearish I was. I look pretty bullish this week. I don't know. No one has a bloody clue. So hold your hands up and just accept that for the moment. And the only trade, the only chart that's capable of being traded in any kind of realistic term is oil. Right, I'll leave it with you there. It's quite a long rambling video across it, looking over a variety of different markets. For the record though, the Bank of England, I believe, are stopping their bond buying today, so we should expect downside on the pound, which would likely impact the Dixie to an extent. Given the fact that the Dixie is currently being supported on this Bollinger Band centre, suggests that that in line with what's going on with the Bank of England is likely to see this move up at least to the top of the trend line. So I would be very surprised to see further upside generated this as far as today is concerned, as we expect the Dixie to move up just based on that. However, if we close another candle body in the green on the weekly, which we're not going to see until Sunday night, then that's a feather in the cap of the bulls, I suppose. That's all we can say. Right, thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.